Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024, and the view was a bit of a shit show today. I don't know what the hell was going on. There were lights flickering. Everybody was just all over the place. Valerie Bertinelli swore up a storm. She said at one point, um, something about you're not allowed to be in my what did she call it? It was like was a sphere of influence or something, whatever it was, if you're an asshole. Same girl, same. No assholes allowed. Anyway, they started by talking about the Orange Toddler and his the, the criminal case that's coming up in a couple of weeks in New York. And the judge in that case put an early gag order on him to not intimidate, um, members of the court, the jury, all that stuff. So he's been posting all of these those apparently uh, defamatory information about the judge's daughter. I don't know what it is. I'm not paying attention. I just know that he's been lambasting her a lot. And so the judge extended the gag order to include families uh, the of the court and the juries and the jurors, um, the rural juror. Um, and so he's already violated that one as of this morning. So this was an interesting topic about um, talking about rule of law and is everybody treated equally. He's been violating the gag order. So what did like do something? Like fucking do something. He should probably be in jail until his trial starts in 2 weeks, but he won't be, which is really frustrating that he just continues to get away with. He's openly mocking that gag order, and nothing is happening to him. So I don't know what it is. At least, I mean, at the very least, hit him in the pocketbook, right? Give him a fine. Um, Hold him in contempt of court. Like, yeah, there's got to be options. But that discussion was quickly whisked away because Joy derailed the whole thing. You want to talk about RFK Jr.? It's like we already had that conversation last week. Um, and you know, he doesn't give a flying fuck about being a spoiler. That's his whole intent. And I just don't buy this whole argument that he's going to siphon votes away from Biden. I can't believe that anybody who is interested in voting for RFK and what he stands for has any chance in hell of picking Biden as an option. Um, I know there's a lot of people that are very low information and misinformed, but I just don't see where someone's just going to pick RFK based on name recognition, and he's the third party, and instead of voting for Joe Biden. I feel like more people know what's on the line for this election than that. Um, and then we were talking about Florida for a hot second, but we missed that big hot topic or hot sort of button issue that they've restricted abortion so hard now in the state of Florida and put it literally on the ballot in November, whether or not to repeal that law. So that's going to get a lot of people out to vote, and could potentially turn at least Florida into a little board of a purple area instead of a solid red. So there's a lot of stuff going on, but everybody had sort of one little jab at it, and then the topic moved. It was kind of chaos in that first segment, and then the second segment, the same thing happened. It was just like, well, let's not talk about this thing that I've just introduced. Let's go on another rant. Um, and then Valerie Bertinelli came out, and it was like she just kept swearing. Oh God, I love her. I loved her as Barbara Jean Cooper in One Day at a Time, since I was a child. Um, and I love that she's just like, I don't. She just doesn't give a fuck anymore. Like, okay, here we are. You know what? Cry if you need to cry. And like, I feel like she finally got a little, uh, more centered and grounded. Um, what were those other topics? They had a Reddit thing. I hate it when they talk about stuff on Reddit, and I know that that's the producer's idea of introducing something lighter and more cultural instead of all politics all the time. But like, fucking hell, like, what? You're the most political show on TV, isn't that what we're supposed to talk about? Um, anyway, it was all just a shit show. The Easter weekend. Oh, that was the other thing that Trump retweeted some poster or some post that of the back of a pickup truck that pictures Joe Biden um, bound, on a side, like kind of like almost like hogtied, as if it were to um, sort of imitate what it would look like if Joe Biden were bound up and laying in the back of that pickup. Um, and I don't understand why that's okay. And what Kathy Griffin did, like, ruined her life for 2 years. I don't. She had what was very visibly a mask with some ketchup on it. This is a very lifelike image that is meant to sort of fool the eye of a 3D image of Biden bound in the back of a pickup. So, um, again, where is that sort of parody about being treated the same? I guess it doesn't matter if we're attacking um, Democrats, but if you attack Trump, then you're uh, isn't that sort of fascism? Like, it's just so frustrating um, to see all this bullshit that people are getting away with, and you know all that he drums up these idiots. Speaking of Kathy Griffin, and that truck, by the way, was I don't know if it was taken, if the pictures that Trump was posting were taken there, but there were pictures of that same image on a truck outside Kathy Griffin's show in Huntington, Long Island. Um, and they go and they protest where she is performing in these big parades with all these Trump flags and all this, and it's like, uh, I've never seen anyone treat a politician this way. It's a cult. It's a fucking cult because he lets them feel good about being mad about hating everybody. It's so fucking blatant. The one good thing about all this is that there are more and more people of every generation sort of opening their eyes to the hideousness that is happening and wanting to be less associated with it. So the unfortunately, the worse they behave, um, the sort of the faster we're going to be able to get away from them. They are not a growing crowd. They will eventually be I shouted down. I think the biggest problem is that we need to get a hold of our political system because that they're taking that over, and they have been for a while, and that's the scary part, that we can't get anything done because those idiots are fucking in the government. Um, they're not the idiots. They're the ones controlling the idiots and feeding the idiots misinformation so that they can take away liberties. But wait until they start to limit the MAGA crowd. But that'll never happen. They just keep yelling. They're really quite tiring.